Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would try something new today and do an overall guide to the new infight, Accursed Hunt. And if you guys enjoy it, I'll probably make this a series where I'll do a strategy guide to each new infight as it comes out. And then I'll also probably go back and do them for notable challenges. This isn't going to be specifically for Chaos Weaver, this is going to be going over mechanics, gear, class recommendations, just overall strategies, nothing specific, because, at least for me personally, I don't like watching videos and then copying strategies for any fight. I've never done that. I prefer to figure fights out by myself, so for those of you who feel the same, I definitely think this will be the video for you. So, I'm going to be going over each solo fight individually and then the duo as a whole. So let's go to Aius first. Now Aius is another body part boss. He has his body and he has his arms. And then 10 darkness, 10 light, and 200 ice res. So obviously don't use darkness, light, or ice. I need to swap my Dragunov because it used to be on light. And then he has his pal Gary. Gary is not have a lot of health. He does also have a lot of resistances though. And what Gary does is he primarily acts as a buffer. So his rotation is he'll prepare a potion. You'll see it as a pop-up. Then he will apply the potion to Aius, or in the duo to both Aius and the Yeti. Then he will just kick you, then he'll heal 50% of his max health and throw the box at you, and then he'll repeat and he'll start preparing another potion. Now, because the buffs are pretty annoying, if your class can kill Gary in one turn, or maybe 2 turns, you might want to do that. But you can also remove the potions by fulfilling specific hit count conditions, which will apply a debuff to Aius. So even though it's appealing to kill Gary, most of the time you don't really need to. And it can be preferable to actually leave him alive, because that means you spend more time hitting Aius. You know, for every 2 turns you're hitting Gary, that's 2 turns you're not hitting the real boss. Now as for Aius, his body is his armor of frost. As long as his body has HP, he has 30% damage reduction permanently. His arms are kind of tied to his rotation. So if you break the arms, he'll actually enter a different rotation. And he does ice and metal damage. The only 2 elements in this challenge are ice and metal. It's not super difficult, so if you don't want to go farm for ice res, you don't have to, especially if you're playing a good class. If you're playing a class that's not that good, can't really avoid getting hit or something like that, then you will probably want to farm for some ice res. But usually all res is sufficient. Now then, if your class wants to burst Aius, you're going to want to destroy the body first to get rid of this 30% damage reduction. If your class is more of a turtle, you can probably consider just destroying the arms first so you don't have to deal with his big nuke. So let's get started here. I won't go through the whole fight, just enough to kind of show off all the mechanics, and then I'll probably just flee. So Aius' rotation is an ice attack, metal attack, ice attack, metal attack, ice attack, metal attack. And you see here purple potion. So alright, so for that I will slice and just attack. And now the metal hits are usually the ones you want to watch out for, because you'll see Hide Cleaver, each time he hits you with one of the metal attacks, you'll get -2 all resist. And he has 3 metal attacks, or 4 I should say. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hits, and 5 hits. So that -2 all per hit can definitely add up, and you really want to try to avoid that 3 hit and 5 hit one, because they do happen back to back. So you can avoid them with 1 shield or with dragon scales. Alright, so you'll see here purple potion H1. Each potion, purple, teal, and red, comes with an H number. And all the H number means is this is how many times you need to hit Aias to remove the potion. See here, if removed, applies -20 bonus. Dragon hits do count. So if we hit him once, then the potion gets removed, he'll have -20 bonus at the start of the next turn. So that's why I use Slice here, so I can just snap, and this will take off the potion, and we'll just skip. It has to be exactly the H number. If you're too high, it will not remove the potion. And this attack he just did is actually a stun, so you want to make sure you have 100 immobility, above 100 immobility, because of this minus all resistance. See here, purple potion nausea, -20 bonus, and that +10 all is gone. Alright, let's continue just breaking the body here. And you see 2 hits. So now I have -6 all resistance, because that was -4 plus -2 is -6. Alright, let's just continue breaking. I should have used Dragon Scout there because this is a shield, but it should be fine. See, 120 BPD shield. Now red potion, so red potion is H3, I believe. Yeah, H3. So red potion is usually the annoying one. 3 hits is not actually really common for skills. I can't really think of any off the top of my head that have 3 hits besides, you know, Rebuke or like Triple from Base Warrior, and I think Dragon Lord. So what you usually end up doing, because you don't want to risk your dragon hitting through 152 BPD, is you'll just use Dragon Primal, because crit glances count as normal hits. So I'm just going to use Scout here, and then here's 3 hits. The good thing about these is they have -400 crit, so that removes a lot of RNG. You won't just get crit and just die from one of these. Alright, now red potion H3. So because I don't really have a good way of wasting a turn with Chaos Weaver, I'm just going to drink a pot, and we will primal here. You'll also see when I break this, it stuns Aias. So he gets stunned when the armor breaks. Now he has nausea and armor broken stunned. And you know, now we can probably just hit him a bunch. And then, yeah, so his rotation ends at the 3 hits, and then he'll restart. So his rotation is basically Icy Flechettes, 1 Hide Cleaver, Stun, 2 Hide Cleaver, Shield, 3 Hide Cleaver, and then restart. Icy Flechettes, 1 Hide Cleaver, Stun, 2 Hide Cleaver, Shield, 3 Hide Cleaver, and after the second 3-hit Hide Cleaver, he does his nuke, which is a 5 hits of the Hide Cleaver, and that breaks his arms. And then when his arms are broken, he enters a different rotation. So I'll show you guys that right now, actually. So let's just flee this. So yeah, you can see he no longer has that 30% damage reduction. And let's show the broken arms rotation. So if we target the arms, I'm going to try to go faster here so you guys don't have to sit through another 10 minutes of Gambitless Chaos Weaver. Let's just break them as fast as possible. Why not? Alright, so see here his arms are broken and he enters a different stance. But he still has that 30% damage reduction from the body. Now when his arms are broken, he just punches you viciously. Basically, he has 3 different punches, if I'm not mistaken. So he will punch you twice, punch you 4 times, and then send a wave of ice at you, which inflicts -100 avoidance and -100 defenses. Then he will punch you 4 times again, and then he will punch you 12 times, or no, 6 times or something, and also inflict -20 bonus, -20 boost, and -20 crit. So the good thing is you don't really have to deal with the minus all from Hide Cleaver hits. The bad thing is he does a lot more average damage in this rotation. So I'll see if I can see it through to the end and just show you what it kind of looks like. So this is the 4 hits. And then I do have to take off that potion or things will get annoying. Alright, well, that's fine. I'm not trying to win anyways. So you see here, that's the wave that inflicts that -100 avoidance and defenses. And then next up, there's going to be a lot more punching. There's nothing I can do about the potion anymore, but that's fine. So if he does heal from it, see 578. So in the event that you can't remove the potion and he does heal, it's not the end of the world, but I would say definitely try to remove them. So that was 4 punches again, and then here comes the big punches. So I will just Aegis that. And so it's 4 hits of the wave, and then 8 punches, I believe. And purple potion H1. Oh, I should also mention, I forgot. When his arms are broken, he gets these 2 buffs, focus and agility. So agility resets when Ice avoids or defends against an attack, so 90 avoidance. He gets, I think, 10? Let me check really quickly. So every time he takes damage, he gets 30 melee pierce magic. And every time he hits a non-critical hit, he'll get 10 bonus and, or no, 10 crit and 5 bonus. And this resets once he crits you. So focus is purged when he lands a critical hit. Agility is purged when he avoids or defends against an attack. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then oh, I did end up breaking the armor actually. So after the nuke you just saw, he will repair his arms and then re-enter his normal rotation. I can't really show that because I'm about to die, but let's just pop and see what happens. Okay, yeah, you see he regains all health, even if you destroy the body when he's in arms rotation. He will restore his body armor, he restores arm armor, and now he's back to the start of his rotation. So that's pretty much all there is to Ias. Whether you want to destroy the body first or the arms first, kind of depends on your class, as I said. I prefer destroying the body because I like doing damage. But if your class has the defenses to survive against the onslaught of punches, then that's fine as well. Alright, now the Yeti shouldn't take as long. So the Yeti... So turn 1 is kind of the major turn. He will either choose a rotation where he applies a bunch of snowball buffs, or it will choose a rotation where it inflicts a bunch of debuffs to you. And that's dependent on whether you have a shield or not on turn 1. So, if we don't have a shield and we just do normal stuff, and again, you don't want fire here against the Yeti. So it will apply chilling debuffs, -10 all resistance. And this -10 all resistance stacks. So you really... Or no, it doesn't stack, sorry, that's something else. And the Yeti will also coin flip between 2 different permanent effects, Anger and Glaciate. Now, Anger applies percentage damage reduction whenever the Yeti gets hit. If you hit, I believe it's 10 non-critical hits, it will break the armor and stun the Yeti for 1 turn. So I'll just use Corrupted 7 to try and demonstrate that. I can't really turn down my crit by much. Alright, that should be fine. So you can see here Yeti Daze. So Yeti Daze is just a 1-turn stun, and it will remove that permanent effect Anger. It does keep the hunting instinct, but the percentage damage reduction, which is the annoying part, is gone. And that'll just be a 1-turn stun. Alright. Now I'll show the other rotation as well. So if we do the same thing, but this time we use Dragon Scales as a shield, you'll see here instead of Chilling Crush, we have Small Snowball, 80 bonus. And then this time, the Yeti coin flipped the other effect, Glaciate. So Glaciate heals when defending or avoiding against attacks, and every time it hits you, you get stacking health resist. So to break this, you need to crit him and or dot 10 times. It can be a combination. You can crit him 6 times and then have 4 dot ticks, something like that. So if we're to demonstrate with just a slice here, so that's 2 crits, and then we had 1 dot from aggression, and then we'll lash. So that's 5. And we'll just Vengeance. And you'll see Yeti Daze. Same thing, it removes the Glaciate, it applies a 1-turn stun. Pretty handy stuff. So definitely try to keep in mind of how to break the most efficient way for you to break that Anger or Glaciate. And the Yeti is not much of an issue at all. So now I suppose I will show the full rotation. Alright. So both rotations have the same idea. On one, it applies a bunch of buffs to itself. On the other, it applies a bunch of debuffs to you. And then at the end of that, it will purge all those buffs or debuffs for a nuke that gains bonus and boost depending on how many effects purged. So I'll just kind of skip my way through this. Gosh, well, that's fine. I don't want to actually break the armor because then it will take longer. And it is 4 turns of buffs or debuffs and then the nuke. So we have another Chilling Call. It's 2 debuffs. I shouldn't have scaled actually because that kind of makes it harder to show the... Alright, so if you see here, those are the punches. And gain 40 boost and 10 bonus from effects on target. So, if you have a lot of those debuffs on you, or the Yeti has a lot of buffs on it, then it can hit pretty hard. It also does purge Glaciate or Anger. So if you broke Glaciate or Anger, then the Yeti will hit you 4 times. If you don't, then the Yeti will hit you 8 times like it just did there. So breaking is definitely advisable because you don't want to take a bunch of extra damage. And that also gives you a turn to tick off these. You see here, if I had stunned the Yeti, then then the Chilling Crush, I should say, the Chilling Crush would have fallen off. And that's one less buff, which would end up being 5 less bonus that I'm being attacked with, and 10 or 20 less percent damage or boost. And then the Yeti will enter the other rotation. So it was just in the chilling rotation. So now it will enter snowball. See small snowball, and then restarts. And it also reapplies anger. So on turn 7 or turn 6 is when it reapplies anger or glaciate. Even if you break it, say on turn 3, it will reapply on turn 6. So you have 3 turns where you don't have to deal with glaciate or anger. And that's pretty much all there is to the Yeti. As long as you watch out for those nukes, you try to keep yourself clear of buffs, or you try to keep the Yeti clear, or you try to keep yourself clear of debuffs, you try to keep the Yeti clear of buffs, then you should have a pretty easy time. Alright, as for the duo, or trio, I should say, everything is the same. The only difference here is that Gary will apply his potions to both targets. Now, the turn order also is Ice, then Gary, then the Yeti. Most classes want to kill the Yeti first. It's not necessarily more threatening, but it is more annoying because of all the debuffs it applies to you, or all the buffs it applies to itself, and it can become an issue. The chilling debuffs combined with Ice's debuffs, especially the minus all, as well as the plus health from Glaciate, can really stack up and make the fight a lot more difficult than it has to be. So killing Yeti first, I think, is definitely the way to go for most classes. Again, I should say, if your class can kill Yeti quickly, or not the Yeti, can kill Ice quickly, then that's probably advisable. But if you can't, that's also fine, because you can just use him to inflict debuffs on Ice and the Yeti. Alright, so as for gear, as I said, you don't really need Ice Res specifically, but if you want, I would definitely suggest Flight Signal, because this is 10 Ice, 10 Metal. It's really nice here. And otherwise, you just have your normal 10 all weapon and then normal all res gear, just with Flight Signal. So if we load this gear set, this is a really pretty gear set. 70 ice, 70 metal, more than enough all res, or more than enough immobility, I should say. You have perfect 90 dex, 90 int, and 100 charisma with that 45 plus 55. If you want specifically ice res gear, you could do something like this. That's exactly 80 ice res, but you should be careful because 88 immobility is obviously not enough, and then you will get hit quite hard by the hide cleaver attacks. So I would only swap to this, for instance, when Ice is punching you. Otherwise, stick to just all res plus Flight Signet, and you should be fine. As for classes, the best class by far for this challenge is Ninja. It blows every other class out of the water. It's incredibly quick. It's incredibly easy. All you do is just kill the Yeti using your normal ninja rotation, and then, kill Ice. while keeping in mind the potion buffs. You have good defenses for withstanding the damage. You have good debuffs. The dots break Yetis glaciate really quickly. You don't care that much about anger either, because that's direct damage reduction and a lot of your damage is from dots. So I highly recommend Ninja for this fight. Otherwise, pretty much every class, every good class I should say, does just fine. Ranger, Technomancer, Pirate, the usual. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to Accursed Hunt. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. This is my first time doing a video like this, so I know it's kind of messy, but if you want to leave a comment, just say whether it was helpful or not, or suggest ways that I can maybe make this better. I would love that. Definitely try my best to get to every comment that I see. So thanks for watching, and then I'll probably be back next month with another similar video for that infight. Maybe something in between for a previous fight, more guides, stuff like that.